What is going on, guys? Today we're going to go on a little history trip of 2483. So obviously I just migrated here a day ago, but I am joined by Archer, which is a native of 83. He is a R4 in Simi, which is the main alliance.
How's it going, guys?
Alright, so the first thing I guess we could talk about is how did taking the Lost Temple go for you guys?
So the original alliance that took it was Simi. We've been the main alliance for pretty much the entire length of the kingdom. And originally, we had two jumper groups that came in here, one from 2147, that was Simi, and 2288, that was FH. Simi has held the Lost Temple. We alternated it week by week for most of the kingdom.
So who was the original king?
So the original king was Q. He was also the R5/king in 2147. He held it for most of the time. And when FH was holding the Lost Temple, it would be Kiddish or Crew.
So leading up to KVK 1, how exactly was the kingdom doing? Like in terms of, were they united or were you guys like have any civil wars or anything?
We actually, there weren't any civil wars. Leading up to KVK 1, there actually was a lot that went on before the KVK. So we actually had two or three alliances in here that were really good alliances that didn't like our leadership and wanted to migrate out before KVK 1. So we had SR, which went to 2484 and ended up being a top alliance there, and they were BC'd in KVK 2. We had OA that went to 2488, and they were a top alliance for an A-seed kingdom. And we had VB go to 2485, and they were also a B-seed kingdom.
How many people would you say had ended up leaving to the other kingdoms?
I would say roughly around 250. We lost a lot of active players and a lot of spenders.
That's a lot of
but
people.
I think we're pretty okay for it right now, though.
All right, so going into KVK 1 then, was Q still the king or what ended up happening with leadership going into KVK 1?
He was still the leader, yeah. He was always good at like strategy and like directing on the battlefield. He was pretty solid. He stayed our king mainly through all of KVK 1. We kept the leadership with him throughout the KVK.
Also going into KVK 1, who were your allies and who were your enemies?
So in KVK 1, we were allied at the beginning with 2481, 2484, and 2486. It was a pretty eventful KVK. By the end, the alliances were not the same. We actually had 2485 got absolutely shut down in Zone 1 of KVK, and then they switched sides and helped us.
So originally 2485 wasn't your ally and then they ended up joining you guys?
Yeah, and they actually had a really big whale. They had a guy that was 120 million power at the beginning of KVK 1, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And that was basically their whole strategy, just ride his back into the sunset, I guess. But that got shut down pretty quick. And then after they realized they couldn't do much, then they decided to join with us.
Originally at the start of KVK 1, was it a 3 versus 5 or was there other ally groups in that?
So actually, in pre-KVK, it was a 3 versus 5. And then right before KVK started, 86 decided to join us.
So basically at the start of KVK, after pre-KVK, it was 4 versus 4.
Yeah.
So with all the end rewards with KVK 1, was there any disagreements in Kingsland of people getting rewards?
There actually was a good amount of dispute with the awards. 81 wasn't happy with what they were getting, and so in the middle of our downtime, they decided to rally our circles. And luckily, we kind of were on the uptake in activity at the time, and we caught them and were able to defend them. That kind of sparked a war between us and set us up for being like arch enemies in KVK 2.
Do you know what rewards you guys ended up getting at the end of KVK 1?
I don't remember exactly, but I know that we had all the high run rewards, and we had all of 82's altars and whatnot, and we had their RCF.
So you guys ended up winning KVK 1?
Yeah.
All right, so after KVK 1, leading up to migration, was there anybody in talks of leaving or in talks of joining? How did that go?
So we actually got hit by a train at the end of KVK 1 with the new migration update with the 30-person quota from cross migration. They were originally going to bring in a bunch of SOC accounts from like 2147 and 2288. But because we couldn't due to the limit, our king Q ended up abandoning his account here, and Kiddish also decided to leave, and that was mainly due to him not wanting to be in leadership anymore.
So after Q left, who ended up taking over kingship?
So we rotate kingship now between Anya and Danky. Danky is kind of the main king, and then Anya just gets on during downtime or whenever he's off. And obviously during KVK, we just rotate kingship to people who are online. That way we're always prepared.
So did Danky and Anya, are they natives of 83 or did they come in with cross season?
They are natives. Like, they had a jumper group. They were part of the jumper group that came here, but they migrated in their SOC accounts.
So I know with the 30 cross season migrants, it took a lot of kingdoms by surprise. So when you guys finally got your 30 people, was it everybody that you had planned on cross season migrating, or did you have any troll accounts come in trying to take your spots?
We actually didn't get everybody. I think we had probably 8 troll accounts that got in, or just people who didn't get permission to come in, who weren't really of any use anyway. But we got in a lot of the fighters and people who we really wanted in.
How did same season look for you guys? Did you guys get any new players through that, or?
It was pretty timid, honestly, our same season after KVK 1. We actually had an R4 group from FH who left. So about 3 R4s from FH decided to leave along with Kiddish. So there was a little bit of new leadership that had to step in right there.
So after you had all your new migrants come in, was there any dispute with leadership and alliances?
No, it was actually pretty peaceful. With the new leadership for both alliances, it worked out pretty well.
Going into KVK 2, what were the main alliances that were expected to do most of fighting, or was it just one alliance?
Mainly, most of the fighters would just come to Semi, and we used SV and FH as like position, to build in different parts of the Lost Kingdom.
How did pre-KVK 2 go for you guys?
It went well. We ended up getting C seed, which was pretty good for us. It was about where we needed to be. I'd say we were about in the middle for power of all the kingdoms in there. So we got allied with 74 and 73, along with 87. 74 and 73 were actually enemies in KVK 1 and fought a lot. But they, I guess, put aside their differences. And
so going into KVK 2, was it you 4 against the other 4, or was it broke off into any other mini alliances?
Not really. 95 did have a civil war during pre-KVK, so they came in a little bit wounded, I guess you could say. They weren't fresh like all the other kingdoms. And our arch rival, like I said earlier, 81, was actually on the complete opposite side as we were. We were in the bottom left corner and they were in the top right corner. So we really didn't get to fight until Zone 6, which gave a lot of time for LKC trash talking.
Throughout KVK 2, how did that go for you guys? Did everything work out as it should, or did you have any disruptions along the way?
It went pretty well. We were kind of expected not to put up much of a fight, but we really ended up surprising everybody. I mean, we defended a pass against triple rallies from 3 kingdoms twice. We really handed it to 81, who had a lot more T5 than we did. Our kingdom, we're not afraid to get dead troops, and I think that's what really sets us apart, is we are willing to zero ourselves to win.
How many T5 players do you think that you might have had during KVK 2? Do you have like an estimated number?
During KVK 2, I would say maybe like 10.
So did you guys end up winning KVK2, or how did that go?
We did. We ended up winning, and we didn't get the star. You know, we didn't keep the ziggurat at the end of the event, but we did get most of the rewards. We got like the sanctuary rewards. We got the RCF rewards. We came in third in Kingdom Honor and Alliance Honor, but we really did a lot, and we turned the tides of the KVK. I would say whenever we held off 81 for like 8 hours. The Kingsland fight was really pretty short, so we got most of the rewards. I would say that we won KVK for sure.
So when you got into Kingsland, did you have any enemies try stabbing you in the back, or did that all work out for you?
We had one kingdom who tried to plot some stuff, but they never really did anything. It got uncovered by one of their leadership people, who basically got disowned by the kingdom after that. But yeah, nothing after that even happened. They just got kicked out of Kingsland. We made them delete their flags, and that was that.
Which kingdom was that?
That was 73.
So after KVK2, how was the kingdom looking coming off of that victory?
Everybody was really excited. Morale was really high. We also had the third most people registered to migrate to us.
So coming up to migration after KVK2, how did that work for you guys with the 30 cross-season migrants again? And not to mention the new update that they came out with on the 13th about any account being 90 days older than the kingdom not allowed to same season migrate in.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate. It seems like our region really gets hit with all the new updates right before migration. But really, we had a very successful migration this time around, and I'm really looking forward to KVK3.
So migration opened a day ago, obviously, and a lot of us from 2497 ended up migrating over to 2483 after our Civil War. What were your guys' thoughts about having us migrate over beforehand after hearing about us having a Civil War in our kingdom?
So before that, we had actually decided to merge the rest of the FH members into either SV or STEMI and use that as a shell and look for another alliance to migrate in. And lo and behold, we had you guys on a silver platter, which was great. It was perfect timing too. Knowing about the whole Civil War, it was kind of important to try and get both sides, of course. And we felt like you guys fit the description and the type of personalities your alliance brought, and your fighting style, leadership style. We thought that it would fit in our kingdom really well.
All right, so I do know before, like when we were looking at our options, I know that we had a little bit of discussion of 2501, but the main problem with that was a lot of people migrated from 2501 to 2497, and they were still going to migrate out of 2497, but they didn't want to come with us to 2501. But I know 2501 had reached out to us being concerned about, like, with the Civil War, if we came over there, how leadership and whatnot would be. I know, like, the main thing that we were looking for was not more so a kingdom that we can go and be king of and everything, just more so where we can still be grouped up and just enjoy the game more. But obviously with all the bad publicity and whatnot around our kingdom at the time, a lot of people looked at MX as being a bad group of individuals that you shouldn't allow in your kingdom. I guess going back to the same question, kind of, did you guys at all have any hesitation of us joining, or?
Not really, no. We really didn't have any hesitation that I know of. We were ready. We were like, they're gonna fit in our kingdom well, and there's always two sides of the story. You can believe what you want to believe, but we felt like that you guys could come and fit in really well, and so far it's been great.
So after everybody migrated in, did the 30 cross-season migrants for season 3 end up being majority of who you guys were wanting, or was there still troll accounts and people that you weren't expecting?
So with that, I'm pretty sure that we got 28 of our accounts in here that we wanted. We really did get a good break, though. I don't know who one of the illegal people who migrated in were, but we actually did get a 114 million power player who was an unregistered cross-season migrant. So that's okay. We'll take that. But
yeah, he's got 1 billion kill points, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, he actually just hit 1 billion today while we were killing deadweight.
Obviously, it is a day after migration now, and looking at the kingdom, Simi is still #1 alliance with a total of 4.3 billion power, and Dank is still king. And is kingship still just going to be Dank and Anya, or
On
is there plans of anybody else being put in the rotation, or is it just those two still?
I think it's just gonna remain them two. Sometimes it'll be given to like Elbow or Louis or somebody like that, but most of the time it stays with Dank or Anya.
Before we migrated into 2483, FH was the second alliance, which it still technically is, I guess. It's the alliance that we ended up taking over, which is now MX. Looking at it now, we ended up renaming it to MX just to keep the good old OG name. And our power is at a 2.5 bill, which isn't terrible. I mean, obviously we're still working on migrating people over. There's still about 20 or so people that are migrating, and I think we're also trying to get some new people.
There's a group in NIX that is just over there for AOO, and then there'll be an MX as well.
Yeah, I think they're going to be coming over after, I think tomorrow at some point after their AOOs.
Yeah, just after AOO.
Which they got a few whales in there.
Yeah, just a couple. I think they have 3 or 4 T5 players.
So realistically, in about like a week or so, maybe more, MX will easily be able to get up to 3 bills. So we'll have 2 main alliances, which will be really good going into KVK 3. How do you guys go about deadweight and MGEs?
So usually what we do is we will fix 1 or 2 of the MGEs and then let 1 or 2 of them be free-for-alls, just to kind of keep the contest aspect of it in there. Just whoever's the mightiest governor will win it.
Which I think that's a good idea, just because with KVK you can't really set it as a fix, because then you have to try to stop people from fighting.
Right. And with deadweight and inactives, just for KVK matchmaking, basically if you come up on the inactive list and you're over the 300th place in power, then we try to get you to drop some siege, or we zero you. I mean, it's in the interest of a better KVK.
Getting rid of deadweight is a good thing to do in a kingdom, because in 2497 we never did that, which obviously a lot of the deadweight did contribute quite a bit to us being an A seed, but also there was a lot of deadweight getting MGE rankings, which also led to civil war and whatnot, as you already know about. So what do you think the future plans are leading up to KVK 3?
KVK 3 we're really excited about. Obviously we had a good migration. We got a whole another fighting alliance in here, which is great. We don't have to fight out of one alliance anymore, which is always a good thing. KVK 3 is just going to be, obviously it's a slower KVK than most. It's just going to be used kind of to grow more and build, and hopefully we can get a win. I'm always confident in our diplomacy. Our leadership in 83 is really, really good. That's always been a contributing factor to us winning KVKs and fighting well. They do a good job of teaching new players for sure. So I'm always confident in our leadership.
Do you have any final thoughts or anything you would like to say before we end the video?
I would just say thanks for having me on. Hopefully this will encourage some people to maybe apply for a spot next off season. Wink, wink. But other than that, no, I think that pretty well captures it.
All right, so we're gonna end the video there. If you guys did like it, do consider subscribing, liking, and commenting, letting me know about your thoughts on everything, and turn on post notifications so you can stay up to date with new content. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.